Hey, welcome back to Score on Business. So, but Angela, before the break, we were talking about employee engagement, and you gave the example of a handwritten note.
Yes,
so let's pick it
absolutely.
back up there.
Okay. Well, Pete, another thing that I think is pretty easy for employers to do is give employees an opportunity to weigh in, to have a voice before decisions are made.
Right.
The way I like to put it is they can have a voice even if they don't have a vote. So that means they may not be around the C-suite table when the final decision is made, but giving them a chance to express their ideas, their concerns, it's going to be so meaningful for them in feeling valued, feeling important, and really feeling connected to the organization. So they know that what they have to say is important. Now, again, the business owner will probably make the final decision, but at least they've given that voice to the team. And
you know, sometimes the folks who are doing the jobs know what needs to be done.
Absolutely. You know, I call it the part of the iceberg that's below the surface, where the leaders of the organization might not see it, but the people doing the work every day, they know what customers are mad about. They know what process isn't working. They know where bottlenecks are, where things are getting bogged down. They go home with those answers and solutions, just waiting for somebody to ask them for their contribution. So they do have great ideas
just
to
show
share.
a little appreciation, ask them for input, thank them. Anything else on that topic?
Pretty simple stuff.
Okay.
So
So you coach a lot of leadership team members.
I do.
And of course, entrepreneurs and small businesses, the leaders may not have been leaders before. What are some common challenges you see with leaders? Well,
something that I tend to see year after year are issues with communication, specifically giving feedback that is timely, that is specific, that is relevant. Feedback to employees really needs to be actionable. They need to be able to take that feedback and do something with it. They need to, the feedback either needs to say, what you did was awesome, keep doing exactly that, or what you did needs to be twerked a bit and here's how you can do that. So it just needs to be that actionable. Another thing that I think challenges leaders is succession planning. They have issues sometimes getting the people that they need in to prepare for when people leave. People do move on to other opportunities and people retire and such. So having kind of that pipeline of folks who are ready, who have the right skills to kind of fill in those gaps as they occur. And of course, dealing with performance problems, having a good methodology and process for dealing with behavior that's not what it needs to be and performance that's substandard. And those are the kinds of things I coach leaders around. Here lately, I'm also hearing a lot about generational differences. Which kind of also leads to cultural differences as well. Right now, there are at least 4 generations in the workplace. The traditionalists, baby boomers, Generation X, and the millennials. And Gen Z, who most people haven't even heard about, they're turning 21 this year. So they are in the workplace now too. So potentially 5 generations of people and understanding how to communicate with them all, what they all need, what their preferences and perspectives are, so that everyone feels respected and valued tends to be some of the issues that leaders are challenged with.
And so folks need to learn how to communicate with those different groups.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And they need to learn to communicate without generalization. I think it's unfair to assume that all millennials want to be communicated with in the exact same way or have the exact same need. For example, the assumption can be that they prefer to communicate only by text and emojis and all of that. I know some millennials that love to talk face to face. Many of them are talkers. So it's unfair to kind of stereotype or generalize. You really have to open up lines of communication and find out what individuals really need and want.
So do you think with the I understand the individualization.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are some common things among the various generations that folks can use as a starting point?
Yeah, there are some, but again, they're not always true for all people. People in the group, but yeah, sometimes there are things that we can take into account. For example, younger generations have grown up with technology, so it's pretty safe to assume that they know technology well and that they're comfortable with it. So getting their input on what a younger demographic of customer wants.
We're almost out of time, and I kind of said, well, what about generalization? But really, if you ask people questions, you know, you find out exactly.
You find out.
You know,
it takes all the guesswork out of it.
Yeah. What makes the, you know, what do you want in a job? Why do you understand how you make a difference here? All that kind of stuff.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it sounds like you make a big difference in a lot of people's
thank you, Peter.
lives.
I pride myself on being able to do that and lend a hand wherever I can.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Ladies and gents, we'll see you next week. Bye now.